Okay. And we're live. I clicked the button. Okay. Um Constantine is running late. He'll be here in a minute or two though. You know how he is. Uh how's everybody doing? Um yeah, I have um I have some news that I don't want to talk about yet because it's just too interesting. I'm trying to talk a guest into coming. Yeah, Constantine's here.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So there's some news that I got yesterday that I want to talk about, but I want to get a guest. I
Okay.
really want CJ to come talk to us about it. But it's hard to get CJ. It's hard to get him.
Let me pin him.
Yeah,
Did you message him today?
yeah. I messaged him last night, and he really wants to talk about it too, which is the thing because it's just so interesting. I'm trying to get. I just want to have guests. I want to have guests involved in that conversation because it's a lot of expertise that I don't have. And CJ is perfect for it. Uh, anyway, so that's kind of a teaser for a future conversation that we might have in next week or something. I don't know. Um, there was a another actually really related piece of news, and if you use your thinking cap, you might be able to figure out what the other news is. You'd have to be a genius. But anyways, a very related piece of news, believe it or not, is that around Kupiansk, Ukraine has basically destroyed like all of Russia's artillery. They've done a really good job, just like killing everything. They're at the point where Ukraine's counter battery, um, but battalion. They have a battalion that just specializes in counter battery fire. They're now shooting like infantry because they ran out of artillery. So they kind of killed them all. So now around Kupiansk, this whole kind of like region here, they've just kind of taken out all of the artillery, and now Russia is kind of to the point where they don't know what to do. They're kind of like, what's Plan B? What do you do when you run out of artillery? like, you get more artillery, but every time you get more, it blows up. So, what do you do, Constantine? Like, what's Plan B?
Well, there is no plan B when you're out of artillery. Just hold your position, or eat shit. Because if enemy knows you don't have an artillery, they're gonna probably attack you because artillery is what stops the attacks. It's not only a offensive weapon; it's also a defensive weapon. And if you know that there is no enemy artillery, you probably gonna use your tanks. You're probably gonna use your BMPs, and it's a freebie to attack in that direction.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
there's one place in particular that we could see an attack, and it is Vilshana. I think if Ukraine is going to attack anywhere, this is the place they would attack. Um, there might be a prelude to that attack, which would be taking Limon Pershi, which is currently a gray area. So it could be that they take Limon Pershi and then move into Vilshana, because Vilshana is very difficult to attack from the south. You have to really attack it from the west. So Ukraine could do that sort of maneuver and take this town. I think this is really the first domino to fall would be Vilshana. And then after that, I don't know. You could keep going east and take Pershno Trefneva, or you could go kind of north up this road. You could go north into Tevelzhanka. There would be a lot of options, but I think Vilshana would be the first place to go.
One of the issues here is that this axis of attack, it does not really have a final how you say this, like, destination of what to do in the end. There are no larger cities, and there are like huge fields that you will have to go through. Going through those fields is quite prone to ambushes, to counterattacks, and it's not that easy as people think. But if you know that there is no enemy artillery, of course it's gonna help. But what may happen, Russia can bring some artillery from other places. I'm sure they have some reserves. I don't know the numbers. Oh, I don't think not many people know the numbers, but it's not like the perspective. I mean, the final goal of this attack is not really on this axis, is not clear.
Yeah, it is. I think Vilshana is kind of a town that Ukraine is very interested in taking. I think it's mostly because of just the way the town is set up. It's very difficult to attack from the south, so I think they just kind of want to get the town behind them so that it opens up more opportunities in the future. I think that's kind of the reason they want it. I know that this is like a high priority town, and likewise, Russia really wants Dvorichna. This is like their
Yeah,
high
that's and
priority.
they want the bridgehead. They want this bridgehead. That's important for them.
So that's kind of so like Russia wants this and Ukraine wants that. But right now, Russia they ran out of artillery. Like their artillery right now is just mortars, because everything else is taken out, and Ukraine is now going out of their way to target those mortars. They're like using their artillery to wipe out the mortars because they just want to totally cripple the Russians here. Um, and I don't know exactly how far south this goes, but I do know that the Svatove is within the area of these artillery emplacements. So I don't know exactly how far down they've devastated Russian artillery. Like they might still have like I kind of think they still have artillery around Svatove, but I know this northern part is really crippled. It's kind of funny actually.
So I will add to that. Around Russian conducted actually two or three attacks around Staro. If you go south from here, Stelmachivka. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
So Stelmachivka. They had three attacks. They ate some shit over there, and they retreated. They had also one attack that I spoke about 2 days ago in Kuzemivka. They ate shit there as well. But they suffer pretty big losses for one day, around total around of probably full platoon in people. But what it translates to is it translates to, because it's not like there is a half platoon here, half platoon there, and half platoon over there. In the end, it ends up in like 3 platoons non-functional. That's one company, and it's a lot. It's a lot for one day to lose in your assault forces, because assault forces are actually the key forces for them right now. It's those who are usually most capable and ready to fight.
Yeah,
I wanted to say that.
a platoon is what, like 30 guys.
Yeah, platoon was around 35 guys, depending. And I have confirmation of those losses. I have a couple of videos. I cannot show you. One of them is going to be released tomorrow. I spoke with the guy from 92nd. They say they're going to release it tomorrow. I'm going to release it the same day as them. Well, I'm going to repost it basically. And the second two videos, they hope that the brigade will post through the press center itself, but they do have confirmation on that as well. These are our drones working there, so we have somewhat of a nice access
Yeah.
to those videos.
Yeah, I do. I know they also attacked. I have no idea how to say the town name, but they attacked.
Рахвально.
Yeah, they attacked here.
It's a starch. It's just translated as potato starch.
Yeah, I actually know that, but they've been repeatedly attacking this town. I don't think they're literally attacking a town. I think they're actually attacking like these forest strips. But
And this is railroad.
yeah, this is a railroad. So they've attacked it like the past 3 or 4 days. They've been attacking it every day. Uh, but from my understand, Ukraine controls this whole railroad, and I don't actually know where the Russians control. They might be in this forest strip here. I'm really not sure. I had to push back this gray area a lot, but they're attacking this town. Um, so it's just and just generally speaking, they're attacking this town, and this town all at the same time. Uh, but yeah, beyond that, really the only news that I have in this general area is that this gray area is extending. I used to have the gray area like here, and now it's like there. So they've moved like I don't know 200 or 300 meters or something, and they're getting closer and closer to Torska and Zarichna, and really this river. Uh, was it called the Zherbets or whatever? Anyway, they're getting close to that river. And then here in Verkno Kamyanska, yesterday I think, or was it today? I can't remember. Days all kind of run together. But there was news that the Russians, and this is news from the Russians. This is not news from Ukrainians, but the Russians attacked here, and I believe they're attacking through this forest and then kind of down this way. But anyway, they attacked here, and the Russians themselves, they said that they attacked with around 60 men, and about 50 of them died, which is not a good day. Uh, there's I think there was like 88. I mean, 8 survivors, and like two of them were wounded. It was not a good day for them. There's like a little video of them like running away, and they're like, "We all died." But anyway, so this was another catastrophic failure. Um, but yeah, that's all kind of the news I have of this area. There's there's really not too much happening. There's tons of fighting and stuff, but there's not like breaking
Not
news.
much changes.
Um, in in Bakhmut, um, it's really hard to talk about Bakhmut because there's just so much unknown. Um, I've heard one source that I do not consider very reliable. They said that Ukraine counterattacked kind of down this street and retook this area here, this kind of like shopping area or whatever, and then later on lost it again. So that was his claim. I don't actually know if that's true. Um, Another guy that I find much more reliable, he said that Russia is progressing up these two parallel streets, so this street and this street, and he said that they advanced today. I don't know where they started from or where they ended, but apparently they advanced on these two roads. Uh, I heard today, or at least as of this morning, supposedly Ukraine cleared the northern half of the street, and then sometime in the afternoon, they lost it again. So this is all just things like just everything changes hands constantly. It's really hard to understand what's happening. I heard that this morning, or late last night, Ukraine did a series of counterattacks along the street here, and they pushed the Russians across the street. So they all of these houses here, they they supposedly pushed the Russians out, and then later in the morning, I think that was like overnight, and then later in the morning, the Russians apparently captured this little block here, like these like four houses or something. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the Bakhmut news I have. It's like basically everything is just going back and forth. Everything's getting bombed. I don't see like linear progression through the city. Like Russia isn't just like slowly moving. It's more like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So Um, and yeah, there's so much news about this northern area. It's like it seems like the most chaotic. Um, I the people that I talked to today, they didn't even want to talk about it. I said like, what happened in the north, and they said I don't want to talk about it. Like, because I don't think they know. They're like they're not hiding something. They just literally don't know what's going on up here. Um, and the bigger news. Uh, don't know if I Anyway, the bigger news is that Ukraine is bringing in an artillery brigade into Bakhmut. So they're bringing in a new brigade, and in doing so, they're removing a battalion. So they're replacing a battalion with a brigade, which is good. The thing though is that the battalion that they're removing is one of the best artillery battalions in the Ukrainian army. So I think we're gonna see what happens. In the past, we've seen a lot of not good things happen during rotations. Um, like Solidar was lost during a rotation, so it's just the sort of thing that worries me. I don't know if it worries other people.
Like rotations are incredibly complex. You have a problem that different level of training, different level of readiness, different level of capabilities of different brigades. However, if you're a general, you gotta generalize surprisingly, and you have to it's pretty hard to understand the capability of one of the units against the other ones when on the paper they're supposed to be the same. So you got to take in the intelligence. Like you have to take in the experience of this unit. Also, you have to make how to say, not really objective judgment because you have to just think yourself and make calls by yourself. It's not something that is easy to be quantified. And while it seems every one of us, we're gonna do it easily, in reality, it's done easily in minds of people, but then ends up in complete disaster. So rotations are always risky, and it's a complex process. And having, for example, two battalions or brigades in the same operation zone is quite complex as well, because it's not the designed by design. A battalion or a brigade can only hold so much area in a specific environment, because there is so many natural features that can provide you cover. There is much natural feature, so much natural features that can provide dispersion, and there is so much engineering fortifications that can help you hold your ground. So it's and of course Russians and your enemy, doesn't matter Russians or not, they have the areas are surveyed. You can go to Google Maps. You don't need much reconnaissance, and understand where the enemy can hide, and this gives you a lot of information. And if you think if you have understanding that now there are two 2 times more people than used to be before, 2 times more equipment. Well, that increases your chances of hitting something and uncovering something like 2 times. So it's pretty hard, and number of forces is not even number of quality forces. High quality forces are not always equal to 2 times quality. Does not always means 2 times good. Same amount of force does not always means 2 times stronger force. So keep those things in mind. Hope I make sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody noticed that the Russians were making tons of advances in this northern part, and then all of a sudden they stopped making advances, and it's really not a coincidence. It's because this artillery brigade, artillery battalion showed up, and they have been doing tons of damage. Recently, let's see if I can remember where it was. It was right here. Um, let me get my bearings for a second. Oh, yeah, it was right here, right there. Uh, uh, this whole area was taken out by artillery. The video came out I think yesterday, but there was one particular hit exactly here that took out just so much Russian equipment. And there are a few more hits. I think like this building was hit, and um, this building I think, and I think this building
Oh,
here.
I've seen this one. I've seen this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of this was taken out by artillery. I think this building in particular was an ammo depot, and
It was 40th Brigade, I think, right?
uh,
They
I
had
can't
they
remember.
had a logo on the video.
I can't remember, but all of these things have been they've been taken out by artillery, very good artillery, um, and this advance stopped for a reason, and it's because of artillery. It wasn't it's magic, you know. I would show the video. I just I don't have it like handy. I would have to like search for it. I don't feel like searching for it. But uh I'll search for it for a second, okay? I'll give it oh 180. I don't know. Constantine, can you find it?
Find what? I'm sorry,
Can you
I missed.
can you find that video real quick?
Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second. So
Okay.
keep entertaining the audience meanwhile.
Um, my problem is I have the video, but if I click it, I'm gonna lose the video that I want to show. Um, that I've been preparing to show. Uh, oh, I can click it because I saved that video, so it's not a big deal.
Do you
Okay,
have it?
yeah, this is it. I think this is it. The video in the beginning part of this video is very choppy, but then it gets better. I don't just the way it's edited or whatever.
Yeah, this one. This one.
This fire it just keeps spreading. Well, I don't know what's on fire, but it just it just spreads. It just keeps going.
This is 45th Artillery Brigade.
Yeah. I don't remember this video being so choppy, but whatever.
Did the truck caught on fire?
It's just everything burnt. It's crazy how much fire it was. Yeah, you I really don't know why this video is playing so badly. I think it's
And the best part, if you see, if you they are filming this on the Mavic 3 drone. This is Mavic 3 drone, DJI Mavic 3 drone that costs $2,000. We supply those, and they are absolutely effective, even though they're lost a lot. But
yeah.
still,
So,
one $2,000 drones that brings this results absolutely worth it.
but I'm just gonna pause here so you can pretty easily see, oops, where this is. Where was it? It's in Peresovivka, right? Here. It's pretty easy to identify in the video. See, like this building is that building, and that like football field. So it's pretty easy to identify.
And it's choppy because like this video is so choppy because it's they probably lost the drone, and this is recording from the remote control, not from the card of the drone, and it transmits with when the EW is working, or the drone is too far, it starts transmitting like this.
I think, um, I think that my computer just played it badly because I don't think it is that video is
No, no,
actually choppy.
I just watched I just watched the original, and it is really it's just like you're playing.
Okay.
There is another part like of it with the aftermath, and it plays much better. I can give it to you if you want.
Um, I think we're okay on that
Okay.
video for now.
Yeah,
Um,
there is another part. This is basically aftermath, how everything has burned, and the building has burned.
it just um, my main point is that this whole attack here was stopped mostly by artillery because obviously, artillery is awesome. It's important. So, but anyways, there was another video.
And
Yeah, go on.
helped that artillery. That artillery brigade. They even wrote an article about me, about
Nice,
my help to them. Yeah, on Facebook.
nice. Here's another video that I. God damn it. I moved. I just spent all that time like readjusting this thing, and then I like immediately ruined it. Okay, so
That's fine.
here is. Oh, God, did it again. Here's a video that I want to show, preferably without ruining the computer a third time. Okay, so this is a video from uh, the Avdiivka area, particularly Vodiana, um, and it is filmed by the 36th Marines. Okay, so um, let's go through this video because I think it's really interesting.
Did you locate where it is? I thought you did. You show
I
on the map?
I did. So
It's Vodiana, right?
yeah. So this is the beginning of the video. You see all of these vehicles, tanks and BMPs and whatever, going down this road. So I have gone through and geolocated all of this. So here we go. Here's the beginning of the video. We can see this is kind of the view of it from the this is kind of where the drone is, kind of like right here, and we can see it all these vehicles moving down this road, and then to kind of zoom out and look around a little bit. So this is Avdiivka. Um, Here is Vodiana, and this is where those vehicles are. These vehicles are moving from Pisky up this road towards Vodiana. Um, so let's go back to the video. Okay, so here is the second part. We see these kind of houses, this kind of road here. So here's the second part. Kind of filmed from like this angle. Uh, these are the houses. This is the road. You see, like it's this little dirt road here. So they kind of move up this highway and then kind of go like that. And now they're here. Uh, yeah. So that's one javelin hit, and we can see where this is. So this first tank is about right here, and you can see that the drone was kind of filming kind of like here-ish, and you could see down this road and the explosion there. So keep going. I'm not sure exactly what tanks these are, but this scene.
I think it was identified as T90. Oh, sorry, T80BV.
Okay.
Someone has identified them like UA caliber obscure or Ukrainian aid tracker.
So here we see this kind of curve in the dirt. I don't know how to describe this, but it's like kind of like a makeshift road. And then when we go on the satellite image, you see that it is right here. It's basically this is that road that they were going down, and they kind of turned left basically. So on the map, we it's about right here. So that these vehicles have been kind of making a makeshift road around that kind of go like this, to avoid whatever this is. It's probably like wet. I imagine it's probably like really soft ground maybe. So that tank was taken out right here. Go back to the video. Another hit right next to it. This guy tried to run away. See, a guy hit. So everybody starts bailing, but that happened. It got hit around here, and they started bailing around there. So go back to the video. This tank.
It's strange that he goes still.
Yeah. What is he doing? It's like, let's drive into the minefield real quick.
He does not really know what is you don't know yet that your bodies were destroyed. For example, by the way, have you seen the javelin crew using the construction gloves?
Yeah.
Red color. And when someone tells me, "Oh, you sent in the blue color headsets," you cannot do that. I'm like, "You have you been at war? Have you really been at war?"
See, so
Yeah.
this tank was harder to identify, but at least to locate. But it was roughly about right there.
So I think. Do you think it was struck by javelin? I know they show that they fired a javelin, but I think that's more like editing because it more looks to me that it just drove over the mine.
Yeah, I think it was a mine.
Can we go through it again? I really enjoyed that tank getting hit.
You want to see it again?
Hmm. Yeah, we see the red gloves here. That's really what I wanted to see.
Yeah, I think he hit
Yeah,
a
you can
mine.
see it. Yeah, it's not. I don't see anything coming on the top. The hit comes from underneath, I think, and that's one of the greatest tosses. It's a good contendant for turret toss of the month's nomination.
And so this attack it's kind of typical for this area. Like this sort of failed attack happens pretty often. I think every stream I feel like I've talked about these attacks, but it was nice to have a video showing it. I've said in the past, this road is a death trap. Russians have lost so many vehicles here, and also on this road. Right here, in this right next to this pond, like right there, there's so many destroyed Russian vehicles there. It's I think it's actually they've lost so many vehicles in this area that they can't even use the road anymore. I think that's why they have to go around because there's just so many destroyed vehicles. And then also through here, there's tons of destroyed vehicles, and uh, and then we saw all of these get destroyed. So there's one destroyed there, and then they kept going north, and they get all taken out there too. So yeah, this is a typical thing. Like this is not a one off. This happens pretty frequently, and Russia has lost so many vehicles in this area. So many, like probably 100, honestly. Uh, it's just crazy. Why don't they attack?
And also for one vehicle that you see destroyed on the vehicle on the videos, you probably have another one broken somewhere because the maintenance and keep up of those vehicles is really complex, and Russia has been struggling with that as well as Ukraine. I will not lie to you that these tracked Soviet vehicles they don't perform too well. And they break, they jam, the turret stabilizer stop working, and there is so much problems with them. So it's quite a substantial losses.
Yeah, and we we see people are asking why are they only attacking in one way? Because like they also attack here and they also attack there and they also attack here and they also attack here and they have the same result everywhere. Everywhere they attack is the same result. So and also you have to keep in mind that this whole region is a minefield and this whole region is a minefield and this whole region is a minefield. So it's attacking is easier said than done. So and I don't know if you're gonna cross the minefield, would you rather cross it in one spot or cross it in a lot of spots? I don't know. Yeah, if you want to talk about T-55s and 54s, from what I understand, um, the T-55, 54s have reached this kind of area of Russia, and they're preparing to cross to Crimea. I don't know how they're going to cross. I don't know if they can take the bridge. I don't know if they're going to take like a ferry. I don't know how they're going to cross, but they're going to cross somehow. And then once they're in Crimea, they're going to move up to here to Zhakoy. Zhankoy. I don't know how to say that. But they're going to move here most likely, and then they're probably going to, I imagine, move to maybe Berdyansk, and then from there, who knows? They could, carry through Mariupol and up. They could go north to Ploy or Tokmak or whatever. So who knows where they're going to go? But from what I understand, they are. on this peninsula, uh, like now, and they're moving to Crimea. However, they're going to go to Crimea, maybe to
I'm
train.
sorry. Let me ask you something. I missed who are they?
The
I got distracted.
The T-54
Oh,
55s.
they were geolocated there.
They were geolocated on a train heading here.
Gotcha. That's interesting. So, what do you think about those tanks?
They're garbage.
I know, but we talked about it. We talked about them, but what do you think of them now? Are they going to be like game changers in this war?
No, I don't.
New tech that
I think they're just gonna
they turns the tide. How would they perform in the attack, like we just seen on the video around Vadiana?
probably worse because they're slower and less maneuverable. So they're like the same but worse. They're
So since the tank is slower, it probably has lesser area of pressure on the soil, so it has less chances to hit the mine. How about that? How about that for advantage?
I don't know. I don't think it works like that. But
It does, but it's just don't, because it's so small. Up to like you can increase your chances up to going visible and non-existent. That's when you don't hit the mines at all, and it's really hard to hit you as well.
I'll tell you what. Compared to like a T-80, especially like a T-80, the T-54 or 55 is a lot slower. Is much worse at going backwards. I'll tell you that. They don't turn as fast. Their stabilizer is kind of garbage, or at least the non. I'm not talking about modernized tanks because the modernized tanks obviously can get all sorts of upgrades. I'm just talking about the T-54
So I don't,
55.
I don't think the Russians, they don't have too much upgrade options on them.
Yeah,
They can install new site, I think, and install ERA. That's basically all their update. They can install new radio. That's basically it.
yeah.
They cannot install new fire control system, which would include stabilizers. They have to use what they have there. I think they also can upgrade the engine, but not upgrade it like, oh, let's get another one in another engine. They can get like install new intake system on it and a fuel pump, which will give a couple of extra horsepower. But this tank does not suffer problems with the horsepower. The engine itself is like it's just a really old engine that's hard to that breaks and not reliable, and it eats a lot of fuel. But one of the biggest problems of this tank is that they're actually small, and they have a fourth crew member. So imagine the space inside the tank is really cramped up, as is even in Abrams. A lot of people, when they get into the tank, they get claustrophobic, and they like, especially when something happens, you get two hits on the tank. People go really nervous, and by hits I mean maybe even small arms fire or something like 12.7 caliber rounds. People tend to get really nervous, and that's, we're talking about even large tanks like Abrams. Now imagine you have T-54, which is, I don't know, it's 2 times smaller. It's literally 2 times smaller, and it's the turret is much smaller. There is so less space. You're gonna go check out the videos on YouTube of these tanks, and everyone who the driver literally sits with his knees close to his teeth. So he's also almost plugging his ears with his knees, because it's designed for short people. Well, it's not designed for short people. First of all, people were shorter 70 years ago, not much, but I think like 2-3 centimeters shorter. But it's 3 centimeters is a lot. Not as doesn't sound like too much, but it's actually a lot. And so people are also bigger as well, and it creates a lot of problems for this tank. That's why you mostly see people, the commanders sticking out of the people sticking out of the turret, people don't drive inside those tanks. Actually, not sitting inside those tanks when they don't need to fire, because it's really claustrophobic and cramped up and uncomfortable. And this also limits upgrade options, because you have so limited space to install new equipment, new everything new. So keep those things in mind. This is a big problem that no one have discussed much.
One advantage is that it can it's easier to reload compared to other stuff. Like compared to the T62, it's easier to reload. It is one advantage that is
Well,
undeniable.
in as far as I remember, T6. Do you mean like reload complete low
Just load it all. Just
loadout, or
putting a
just
shell into the gun. It's easier in a T55.
so? First of all, T62 has autoloader, as far as I remember. You
Yeah.
don't need force crew member. This one you have to have the auto. You have to have a loader crew member who will do that for you. So I don't really know what you like. You still need in T62. You don't need anyone. In T55, you need a guy who would do this for you manually. And if people think that, oh, big, but they don't have autoloader, and now the turrets are not going to be flying, and there is less chance of detonation of the ammo. That's not true, because the ammo is still stashed inside the turret. If you want to, let me find a picture for you if you want. Yeah, I can talk about T52s obviously. Uh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Anyway, just generally speaking, because some people are still asking about this. They're
Yep.
just the way that Russia moves equipment into Ukraine. Um, they get it to Crimea, and then they get it up to Zhankoi, and then they kind of move it from there. That's just the way their logistics work. Unless you're like coming from the other side, like you can bring stuff in this way. But typically speaking, or generally speaking, they get it to Zhenkoi, and then they ship it from there. And generally speaking, if you're shipping it um, pretty much anywhere except for maybe Zaporizhia, um, you send it to Berdyansk. Berdyansk is the main kind of shipping hub for the Russian logistics, and then from there it goes to typically Mariupol, or sometimes north. I mean, obviously it depends on where it's going, but you can go to the Mariupol, and then from Mariupol it can go to Donetsk or wherever it's going. So that's just the way their logistics works. Um, you can say, why don't they ship it directly to Berdyansk? Because well, they don't. It's not the way their logistics is set up.
Well, they did it a couple of times, and the result. You remember when Pochko
Yeah,
sank one of their ships?
yeah, they did have an issue where
Yeah,
uh,
unloading the ship takes a lot of time. It's not.
they
It's not a 1 second process.
they have a ship right about where this red guy is. It sunk because it got hit by a missile. Uh, and then their other ship was like spiraling out of control over here. It's kind of funny. There's like a satellite image of it just spiraling out of control. But yeah,
Let me
yeah.
share. I found the
Yeah,
picture.
Zhangkui is it's hit a lot. There's a lot of targets here. There's a lot of juicy targets. They have this airfield, which is often full of like helicopters and stuff. Then they have this train yard, which is often full of all sorts of stuff, it's full of ammo and all sorts of things. So there's just a lot to hit here. It's a big juicy target. So Ukraine hits it as often as they can.
Can you show the picture? Send you on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. That didn't work out. I thought it would. Uh, okay.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is the turret of the T54, T55, and those are where the shells are locked on the left. So if you get a penetration through here, that's a pretty huge chances that the turret is gonna fly really high as well. So keep those things in mind. So it does not solve their turret tossing championship problems.
Well, it might not fly as far, but might be more of like a long jumper than a high jumper. You know what I mean? Might blast in multiple directions instead of straight up.
Yeah, and damage other tanks that are nearby instead of flying up.
But yeah. Um, Anyways, that's kind of all the military news I have for today. There was one other event that happened tonight. Zaporizhia got hit by, I think, three or more. I don't know how many it was, but it was at least three S-300s. Kharkiv got hit by at least six S-300s, and they also shot down a drone. I don't know if there are more drones. And Kiev was attacked by drones. I don't know if the drones did any damage, but I know that they were attacked by drones. So that was a rather large attack tonight, where the three main targets that I know of anyway were Kiev, Kharkiv, and Zaporizhia. And I'm sure other places got hit as well. Yeah, Kharkiv got hit a lot. Constantine, did you hear anything from Kharkiv about the?
Yeah, I read today that it was hit, but I don't have anything else other than
Yeah,
it was hit by SS 300s.
yeah. It was, there was also a drone. I don't know what kind of drone it was, but the Ukraine shot down a drone of some sort, and they posted a video of it. The video is not much to look at. It's just blackness with a yellow streak through it. That's the video. But they shot down a drone. I don't know what kind. So yeah, that's kind of the military news I have. It's not really so interesting today. I don't know. Constantine, do you have anything else to talk about?
Uh, I want to say there was good news that finally Finland joined the NATO. It was the Turkish parliament ratified the decision to accept Finland, and now Russian border is 1,200 kilometers more than it was before the war. So the Putin argument that he is attacking Ukraine and killing Ukrainians to avoid NATO expansion failed, which means is either he is stupid or he has lied. So that's one of the news I wanted to share.
I guess we could. I guess I could do Avdiivka news. I figured just talking about this tank attack was the Avdiivka news because it's basically Avdiivka news is what happened in this attack is what's happening here and there. So it's just like just showing this is kind of says it all. But basically, the Russians are they're trying to move west from Novobakhmutivka towards Novokalovane. They're trying to move north from Krasnohorivka towards Novokalovane. They're trying to move west towards Stepove. They're trying to move south from Krasnohorivka towards Avdiivka. I'm not sure if they're attacking here or there, but they're attacking south somewhere. I don't know which side of this like pond they're on, but there's heavy fighting near Kamyanka. I don't know if the fighting is in Kamyanka or like more over here. Um, I don't know who controls Kamyanka, but there's just generally speaking fighting near Kamyanka. They're still fighting near this filtration area, um, and Zenit is still getting very heavily shelled, although it is an underground nuclear bunker, so shelling it doesn't really do anything. And we already talked about the Sevierna attack, and Vodiana is basically the same because they're taking the same roads. So Pervomaisky, um, the Russians declared that they had some advance. It's unclear where the advance was. Um, I've seen some of them say that the advance was here, which actually happened a very long time ago, and maybe they're just kind of saying they had success just for the sake of it. It's possible that the advance was here, um, which has been a gray area for a long time, and I suspect is still a gray area. But ultimately, Ukraine has not lost ground. If anything, the Russians are claiming gray area. Novelska has no change, and the city of Krasnohorivka, the Russians are doing very small attacks. Then it's not really a threat. Um, Marinka, there's like really no change, just kind of fighting everywhere. And Pobieda, no changes. So that's kind of the Avdiivka area. So the more interesting thing is that Karlivka is getting, from what I understand, lightly shelled. There's more outgoing shells than incoming. Um, the same is generally true of Nidlve, and and all of these towns north of Avdiivka are getting shelled. So Orlivka, uh, Semenivka, Berdichi, these are all getting pretty heavily shelled. And in addition to all of what I just said, Russia is using aerial bombs pretty regularly to bomb pretty much any Ukrainian position that they find. They're dropping 500-kilogram bombs and sometimes 1,500-kilogram bombs on all sorts of things. So the other day, I think I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it was this building here. I think I think this is a kindergarten, if I remember right. This building here was hit by like a 1,500-kilogram bomb, and it just kind of exploded. The mayor, I think the mayor or whatever he is, he came out today and said that every single structure in Avdiivka has been damaged to the point where it cannot be repaired. So it's like 100% destroyed now, which is sad. And yeah, that's kind of the Avdiivka news. It's just lots of heavy shelling and lots of Russian tanks blowing up, and the shelling is bombing. So it's lots of bombing and blown up tanks. And yeah, and apparently Hungary is on the unfriendly nation list. I don't know what do you have to do to be on the friendly nation list. Do you have to like, uh, uh I don't know if it gets much more friendly to Russia than Hungary, but apparently they weren't friendly enough. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the news. Vuhledar has been assaulted a few times in the past like 2 days, but I don't think it's serious. Why aren't we giving them more stingers? I think we kind of give them all. Like how many? Like there's only so many stingers. Like um, kind of run out after a while. It's like I don't think like why aren't we making more stingers? Is kind of the question. Like we should make more of them faster, but I think they're trying to make more, but it just they said it would take like 18 months or something to ramp up production. Although they did say that like a year ago, so I don't know. Maybe they'll start getting more in like 6 months from now. Who knows? But yeah, that's gonna it. There's not too much news. Uh, so yeah. So I guess we're done. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming and listening. Um, you can do all YouTube things like sharing and liking and subscribing and all those sorts of things. And hopefully, I really want to get CJ on to talk about the other topic because it's fascinating, and he's an expert on literally every aspect of the topic. He'd be perfect. Uh, so I'm going to try to bend his arm and come talk about it. And anyway, um, other than that, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're done.